guess that was Women of Brewster Place. I keep saying Palace in my head, but it's definitely Place.
I keep saying Seal's name wrong, so we're all struggling here.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Del.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so today we watched The Women of Brewster Place.
Yes, we did. This is an interesting one. We were suggested this by Something Real, as we've been saying for the past couple of weeks. Something Real gave us a massive list of stuff they wanted us to see, so that's what we're doing. But this was interesting because we're going to read the IMDb, then we're going to get into it. Okay, so based on the novel by Gloria Naylor, which deals with several strong-willed women who live in a rundown housing project on Brewster Place in an unidentified eastern city. Across 3 decades, they struggle against poverty, bigotry, and weak, troublesome men.
Okay.
So yeah. But as I said before, this is interesting because it's kind of a mini-series, so it's not quite a movie. It's kind of like, almost like a TV movie. This was broadcasted in 1989, so I think it was like a television movie special that played on ABC, and it's based upon, as it said, the novel, and Oprah's production company produced it, and it started as a mini-series, but then it got such good reviews, it became a weekly series afterwards. So there's a series called Brewster Place, which takes up where this movie ends off, but that was canceled due to low ratings. So this one's an interesting one.
So I guess for this was like 2 90-minute episodes or something, or do we know?
Essentially, I think it was 2 90-minute episodes, just because of the length of time, and like there's a part 1 and a part 2. However, where I found to watch it, they didn't split it up. I just was essentially sat there for 3 hours.
Same, I was in the same boat.
Yeah, well, not fully 3 hours, because I kind of broke it apart. I stopped at a natural stopping point for me. But yeah, this got like 35 million views when it first aired. So that was interesting. Well, not interesting because it was, we'll get into how we feel about it. But yeah, just interesting how the viewership was so high for this. But then when it came to the TV series, the viewership, I guess, tapered off. So I'm curious as to what happened there. But,
Yeah. Interesting. All right, so I guess as usual, we kind of kick it off with things we liked about this one.
Yes, we do. Where are my notes?
Yeah. Did you want to kick this one off, or?
Yeah, I could start this one. So, here are my notes. There we go. I will say, I really enjoyed the storyline of Kiswana and her mother. I think in general, I like the character of Kiswana. She was the new girl that went into the neighborhood. She came from a fairly wealthy family, I guess. And her mother was like very nervous about being in this more poverty-stricken neighborhood that wasn't like what she grew up with, basically. But I just thought Kiswana in general was a good representation of the old and the new colliding, both in trying to like just kind of like make life better for everybody, going around with the like trying to get the tenants to sign so they could get a rent strike and like get all sorts of things. Like, she was a good representation of the new, while a lot of people in the building, like Maddie, Oprah Winfrey's character especially, was like was kind of like a little curmudgeon-y and like, oh, I don't think anything's gonna change really. And like you'll see when you get older, and her and Kiswana being like, no, I don't have to become like jaded when I get older. I can still like keep my head up and like want to help people. Like when she saw the kid digging in the trash, like what everyone else was like, that's just a thing that happens. She was like, no, we can make this a good place. And like her whole character arc with the other mother, both her mother and then the other mother whose name I fully don't remember, who had like the rowdy kids and like taking them to the Shakespeare play. Like I really liked her character little story section that she had.
Yeah, I definitely think she was one of my favorite characters as well. And I also had the scene with her mom written down as one of like the I guess more like impactful scenes in this one. I thought this one had like a couple like I don't know, just very like powerful monologue kind of scenes and stuff. So yeah, that was definitely one of them. I also like the little like son storyline in the beginning. With Matt, her name was Maddie, right? Maddie's
Maddie.
son after he like gets arrested. Like I thought like that whole scene from like the phone call to him kind of like running away. I thought like that one had some like really good dialogues and like I don't know, really like real representations of like how the justice system would have worked back then, you know? So yeah, I thought that was like I just thought there were like a lot of like really good scenes and that was that was one of them. Let's see. Is this you or me still?
Yeah, I'll go. The next one I had was the whole tenants meeting that they had when Lorraine first not when she first comes to the building, but like the first tenants meeting that Kiswana is making for everybody, and everyone's like ganging up on Lorraine. And I was, not everyone, but the old bat Miss Sophie was ganging up, was like attacking her verbally for being a lesbian. And I thought it was like fairly progressive how everyone else in the tenants were like, yeah, she like minds her own business. Like, what more do you want her to do? Like, I just love that. And the line that got me the most in that whole scene, first of all, Jackie Harry, like, so funny as Etta May. Like, I always love her. But she didn't even say this line, but I guess you get out of the tub with all your clothes on to make it easier on Jesse's eyes. Oh, I would have turned to dust if someone said that to me.
Yeah.
Because she was like describing it. She was like, Miss Sophie was going, yeah, and you were just standing there in the bathroom, naked. And everyone's like, what? Creep, peeping Tom?
Yeah.
And that guy came up with that fabulous little dig. Woo. That made me get up and shout. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I also really did like the neighborhood group and that couple too. I thought they had a pretty like powerful scene toward the end where she's like making meatloaf and watches Sophie Sophie like peeking in on them. And she's like throwing it and then they kind of have that like touching moment at the end. So I thought that was like another really really good moment. I thought that couple had like a lot of very good moments. There was also the moment of them kind of describing how they got there, how they've like moved from places because there's always some like they looking at them kind of thing. Yeah, I just thought like just really like touching moments between the two of them and like their interaction with the community as well.
Yeah, Lorraine and Teresa were some of my favorites. The beige bras and oatmeal little thing, the thing was really good for them too. I just really liked them. And I also had the meatloaf breakdown too, where she's like, oh, you want to watch? I make meatloaf just like you. And just like throwing all the ingredients at Miss Sophie's window. Oh, that was amazing. Anytime anyone like stood up to Miss Sophie, it was great.
Yeah.
Do you have any other positives?
Nothing too specific. I thought the acting overall was actually like really good in this one.
Oh yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, very easy to like, I don't know, get interested in the scenes and everything. So
yeah,
definitely a +1 for the acting. Is it time for negatives?
Yep.
Okay. I guess I'll kick this one off.
Yep.
This one was kind of hard for me to like evaluate because it wasn't like a regular movie. You know, it was this kind of mini series, and like a lot of the problems I had with it had to do with like pacing and like I thought like at times it moved like super slow or like almost gave characters like too much attention. It seemed like there were like still characters being introduced at like the 2-hour mark, you know. I think for the most part, like a lot of the problems I had with this one had to do with like pacing and feeling like things moved too slow at times, and like something really dramatic would happen and it seemed to just like move really fast. There was also a lot of like time skips and stuff, so I think like having not watched it in that original format of, hey, here's a 90-minute episode, then you get another one next week or whatever. I don't exactly know how to evaluate it because I don't want to just complain like, hey, it was 3 hours, you know, and like there was a lot that happened and it almost felt like more was meant to happen. Like the fact that this became a TV show, like I could definitely see that, you know, like it seemed like I almost like forgot what the name of this movie was because we like I know I said I like the like narrative with the sun and everything at the beginning, but like I like completely forgot this was called The Women of Brewster Place because we weren't at Brewster Place and there was only one woman in the whole film at the like first like hour, you know. So yeah, I wasn't too sure how to evaluate. Like there definitely were like some pacing issues I felt, but I don't know how much of that was due to like the way it was released, and it also seemed like super like soapy, like very like soap opera-y. So yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, this was an interesting one because I was kind of trying to evaluate it as a movie in general, even though I know it was a miniseries and was broken apart. And honestly, I could see why they wanted to make this a TV series, just because with the way that it worked, it definitely lended itself to being a TV series in the way that they introduced people to the Brewster Place neighborhood, in the way that you could see that in a TV series, the overall arc would be Kiswana's campaign to get the neighborhood like stop being walled off, or trying to get them to have more tenants' rights and all that other stuff. So I could definitely see how this plays as a series. So that's what makes it even more interesting about how the series didn't take off as much as the miniseries did. But as a movie, it kind of drags a little, just because I don't think everyone's story was executed with equal care. Like, what is her name? Etta May. She had a weird kind of like story of her trying to get with a preacher that like didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Even Oprah Winfrey's character, Meddy, even though she had like the first hour to herself, it kind of like, you just kind of like abandoned her once she got to Brewster Place, and she like would show up at the meetings and stuff like that. But like her son was in jail, or like her son was on the run, and that's why she doesn't have a house. Like she put her house up as collateral, and her son like left, so she lost her house, and that's literally not ever brought up again until the very, very end, where she's talking to Cecil, whoever Lynn Whitfield's character is, when she's talking to her, and she was like, it's good to remember Basil. It's like, yeah, you did have a son. What happened with that?
Yeah.
So that was very odd. Personally, if I were doing this, I actually would have started this an hour in when we were actually at Brewster Place, just so it's and just kind of reveal the information about Meddy in a more like organic way, sprinkling it in afterwards. Because her story was interesting. Like, don't get me wrong. But, like, I definitely would have just had her show up at Brewster Place knowing Cecil or Cecily or whatever her name is already. Seal. I spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
But I would have had her already meet her in Brewster Place, so that we're not spending a full hour before we even get to the main, like, central location of the entire thing. I just think it would have been more interesting to, like, slowly get that information revealed about how, oh, you have a son? Like, what happened to your son? Or, like, you live here now? Why is it, instead of it being, like, that's all, we just saw it, like, really quickly. And that's where I think a lot of the weird time jumps happen. Because Basil grew up and I, like, blinked. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that was, like, another thing I'm glad you brought up. Like, one, the time skipping, and, two, all the stories seem, like, kind of disjoint and, like, spread out almost.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like we got the Etta James story, and then like she wasn't talked about for the rest of the movie. Then like, or not the Etta James, the Maddie's story, like the main character.
Yeah.
We got her story. Then she like wasn't touched again for like the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Then like Seal kind of bounced in and out of the movie. Etta James definitely bounced in and out of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Even like the lesbian couple, like they didn't even get there till again like the 2 hour mark almost. So like all the stories felt like so disjoint and spread out, and the only thing that really kind of brought any of it together was the what is it, like the tenants meetings.
Yeah.
But by the time those really got rolling, like the movie was pretty much over.
Yeah. Even
the
mother.
And that's where it felt. Oh, go ahead.
Even the mother who I said I liked, who had all the rowdy kids, they like took her to a Shakespeare play, and she was like, maybe I could be a mom, and then we'd never see her again.
Yeah. See, like, I almost forgot about her. Like, again, like, they all felt, like, so, like, disjoint, like, almost, like, separate stories. And that's why it felt like this was meant to be a series of like smaller episodes where, I don't know, each episode you kind of touch on one family, and then as you like continue watching, they continue to show up, you continue to see like little progress. And so like that's why it just felt so weird to watch it like as this like 3-hour chunk. And even honestly, even in the 90-minute chunks, I don't know how well it would have worked.
I don't know either.
Yeah, like it was just very interesting how this, I think, turned out.
Yeah. And it's weird because everyone's story that they got was more or less good. Like, I don't think there was anyone who had like a truly terrible. Well, no, just kidding. Edda May with her weird creature thing. That was super quick and super
yeah.
But I think everyone else got more or less a good-ish story where you kind of learn more about them and their motivation. Which is why it'd be so good as a TV series. And I'm really shocked that it didn't work out. Like, I actually need to look that up why it didn't work out as a TV series. Because the way that this movie went, it would work better as a TV series.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
The next thing I have, because I do still have critiques, because there are still some messy things here. But the Cece as a rapist plot, I didn't like that. It was toward the end where he attacked Lorraine. Because what happened was Lorraine and Teresa were about to go to like a club or something like that. Lorraine didn't want to go. That's when they had their whole beige bras and oatmeal confrontation talk, which was really good. And then Teresa's like, well, I'm not going anymore. And then Lorraine's like, well, I'm going to go now. They essentially switch roles. She's leaving, and then like Cece attacks her. And that confused me for a couple things. Like, that came out of nowhere. I don't remember her ever interacting with this man. And honestly, I paid more attention to this movie than I do with some of the movies that we do see. I will say that. Like, I actually paid really hard attention to this because it was 3 hours, and we normally do 2 movies, but this is the only movie we're doing this week. So I was like, let me laser focus on these 3 hours. But I don't remember who he was, and he came out of nowhere. So I was like, what is happening here? That was not a way to end the movie. I thought it would end at the block party. It was very odd.
Yeah, I thought that like that came out of nowhere, and honestly, like watching it, I don't think I even registered what was happening during that scene. But there was a scene before where he was part of some like gang that was bothering. I can't remember if it was. I think it was Lorraine and Melanie Kiswanda, whatever her name was.
Okay, yes.
And like, and they like stood up to him, and then he kind of like stormed off, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not worth it," you know.
Yeah.
So I do remember that scene happening, but I don't know. I thought it was like weird, oddly placed as well.
Yeah.
You know?
And then she like, I guess we're just saying the end of the movie now, because that's where I had the biggest issues of things, honestly, in terms of like plot. But like, and then at the end, she like is lying on the ground, and then one of the husbands who's been kind, whose name I really don't know, he like sees her after Oprah Winfrey's character tells him to go get trash cans so they can start like, cleaning up.
Yeah.
He goes to get trash cans. He sees her lying down. She attacks him with like a plank of wood because she's still like obviously freaked out. She just got raped? ? She's on the ground. I'm assuming she got raped. We'll say she's raped for like to make this clearer. But so she's attacking him, and he like hurts his head really bad and almost passes out. Then Oprah's character and everyone like sees him like all but dead, and they see her, and then like the ambulance goes off, and then Oprah's like, "See, we can't have anything good here." And then that's when they start breaking down the wall that Kiswana explained about how this used to be like a hub for the city, but something they like walled it down so it's a dead end street, and that's why it's kind of like hard to get like businesses and everything up and running over there. So they start breaking down the wall and everything, and that's all fine and good, but that shouldn't have been what led up to them breaking the wall. They should have started breaking the wall because of something that has to do with the actual plot of the movie, not this random assault storyline. It should have been they were breaking down the wall because, oh my gosh, they didn't make enough money to afford a lawyer, or oh, every single lawyer they tried to talk to won't take their case or something like that, and they just feel really upset about the street and what's happening on Brewster Place. Not because of a situation that they don't even like. They're kind of treating it as though, oh, we can't have anything good, as though, like, Lorraine wanted to beat people up. Like, I didn't get that. That was so weird. The ending should have had to do with the movie, and it didn't, which was the oddest thing. Like,
I thought the ending fell flat for me, too, and the reasoning I gave was that, like, the smashing of the wall was like kind of cute and like it was like a nice way to end the movie, but it felt so undeserved. Like,
yeah.
Again, it was like stuff was still kind of piling up. Like nothing really was resolved, or like nothing was even like like we didn't even get to that like turning point in the movie. Really, where like I don't know, it just didn't feel like right to even have that at the end. And I think it has to do with again like how the movie ended. Like that like final scene of like people like getting taken off to the hospital. Like yes, it was bad, but like
that's not
there
why
was a lot of shit going on this whole entire movie.
Yeah.
Like,
that was a very bad, that was a weak reason to start breaking down the wall. Like, I would have accepted them breaking down the wall, but it just needed to have to do with the plot, and this assault did not. Like, very odd.
Yeah, it felt almost like a forced wrap-up of the movie. It's like, okay, the movie's over now. Like, this will just be the final event here, you know?
But again, as we're saying, this was made into a TV series, but that's a good way, if you're going to make this into a TV series based off a movie, that's a good way to start your TV series, because that's like a very big, inciting incident of like, we just busted down a wall that like separates our city, or like our street from the rest of the city. Now what are we gonna do? Like, there's legal ramifications. There's like physical. There's like so many ramifications of that one action that it just like I could see where it would go in the TV series, but like you should have made a better reason for them to start tearing it down because it makes no sense.
Yeah. This whole thing almost did feel like an extended pilot.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
the last two things I have are incredible nitpicks. But I wish the music in this was stronger. I don't know, but today is, the day we're filming this is July 10th. Stranger Things has been on the forefront of everyone's mind for the past couple weeks, especially because Doja Cat is beefing with the guy who plays Will. So, like, Stranger Things is on the forefront of everyone's mind, and the music in Stranger Things and the way they incorporated it to have these big cinematic musical moments was incredible. So after being so like engrossed in that and watching that, going to this where it's like essentially silent except for a few like jazzy transitions, weak sauce, my man. Weak sauce for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then the last real nitpick I have is for Miss Evie. When she died, I could see her actress breathing.
Miss Evie. Oh, she was like the old lady in the beginning?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
I saw her actress breathing. First, when Oprah went to check her pulse, I definitely saw her breathing. And then in the funeral scene, I saw her breathing pretty blatantly in that coffin. I was like, y'all need to like pan up for her. Yeah. Don't do that.
That's funny. All right. Yeah, I don't think I had too much else. All right, ready for ratings?
Yes, I am.
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I gave this one a 3.5. Overall, like, I thought the acting was really good. And again, like, all the individual stories were really good. I don't think it really, like, I think part of the fault isn't with the, like, movie or miniseries itself. It's that I'm watching it now, like, not in the original, like, 90-minute format. And so, like, as a 3-hour thing, it does get long and kind of drags on. And it misses a little bit of that, like, cohesiveness that would have tied all these stories together.
Yeah.
But overall, it was an enjoyable watch, and like again, you do get like very into the characters, and there are like some very good storylines in this one. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy this one. Just yeah, it was very long, and yeah, that does hurt it a little bit for me. But yeah 3.5.
I gave this a 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I think the time really, like, gave me pause, but I thought the majority of the stories were executed well. I especially enjoyed Lorraine and Teresa's stories and Kiswana's stories. I thought they were, like, they were the strongest stories in my opinion. I just think, again, it has to do with the format of this that was kind of a little, I don't even know if I would have liked it better if I saw it in the original 90-minute format. But as I saw it in the 3-hour plus entirety of it, I definitely think the length was a problem, especially because it kind of dragged in places. And we definitely could have started an hour in when Oprah originally was supposed to place. And the ending is really where they lost me. but overall, I enjoyed this so much more than I thought I would.
All right. Final question. Do you wish you saw this one sooner? Yeah, I think it's a no for me. Yeah, I did enjoy it. I will say this one's based off a novel. I think the novel seems like it'd be interesting, but
yeah, the novel.
Yeah, I don't think I have a strong need to have seen this one earlier.
Yeah, same for me. I don't think there's a reason to need to have seen it earlier. Speaking of the novel, I almost feel like we should have a TheBlackCatch-Up book club where we like all the movies that we see that have novels. We should do something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
No, we should.
This particular movie, no, I didn't need to see it earlier. Maybe if anything, I would have needed to see it in its original format. I'm curious to see how I would have enjoyed it in that way.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Yeah. On a similar note, I would be like intrigued by the TV show to see what just what it was like.
Let us know if you want us to do the TV show as a thing. There's only like 11 episodes. 2 of them were underaired. So is that 9 or 11? Which would be 2?
Yeah.
I don't know. But let us know if you want us to watch the TV show for this. I'm open to that, definitely.
Yeah, no, me too. That was the Women of Brewster Place.
Yeah.
YouTube housekeeping. Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. Once again, thank you to Something Real for this suggestion. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye! And that's why I was like, the music, I wish we could have gone off on the music here, like, had some really cool soundtracks. I don't know. Maybe the budget wasn't there. Weak. I don't know. But yeah, there was like...
And honestly, I thought the music was going to be better after that, like, 2-minute intro. Because the 2-minute intro, I was, like, kind of grooving to it at first, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, it was silence for the rest of the movie.
It was silent, and unless we were at a funeral, the amount of funerals...
Yeah,
people dropping like